hope you're having a great day. It's still very hot here. I haven't heard of any type of a shift occurring. So mostly we all stay in unless we just shoot out to go to a store, go in, come back home. It's very oppressive energy, like it's challenging to get a lot of breaths all put together, and you get very soaked very quickly. If you don't know of anyone who lives in Florida, that's how it is. Good morning, Jenny. And we'll just give a minute here and see who else is coming today. It's Monday, August 18th. Here's Annie. Good morning in Switzerland. And Barbara Ward. And Tanny again saying good morning. Well, we had a very interesting weekend again. On Saturday at 3:33 p.m., we were brought into awareness another duck who had a little yellow one. There she is. And the yellow ducks are world happiness and joy. And the others all have like a yellow around the front. Muscovy ducks or something like that. But I'm hoping the last one must have gotten eaten by something. We never saw it again. But let's hope this one looks a little bit bigger this time. And it has brothers and sisters. But again, we are receiving almost daily something from the universe. It does it, they live a little bit down from us. Doug was down getting the mail and took that.
Unknown caller.
Yeah, let me shut this off. All right. Oh, Marby, good morning. Jenny brought us a rainbow. We did have a rainbow again the other night. It was a cosmic one because it was from the earth straight up into the sky. So rainbows are finding us a lot. So let's call in a beautiful, deep pink to surround all of us in this protective light. As we call in our tube of light, beloved I am present bright, round to seal our tube of light from ascended master flame, called forth now in God's own name. Let it keep our temple free from all discord sent to us. I'm calling forth the violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire, keeping on in freedom's name till we are one with the violet flame. So that you want to say 3 times and let it get faster and faster and faster. And do it numerous times a day. Just doing it in the morning and going on about your business isn't enough, because you have to visualize it as you go, and you need it to become really around you through your perception. Yeah, this is you, surrounded by the violet flame. This is your higher self, and this is your expression of godliness. We each have our own energy of God with us. Marianne, good morning. Barbara discovered 4 baby rabbits in her flower bed. Wonderful blessings coming from everywhere. Repeat the mantra. All right, you're going to try and write it. Beloved, I am presence bright. Round the seal your tube of light. From ascended master flame, called forth now in God's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I'm calling forth the violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire, keeping on in freedom's name till we are one with the violet flame. And you do it 3 times, faster, faster, and really fast, like at the end. Beloved, I am presence bright, round me see your tube of light. And years ago, when they all met in the huge temples, they would all chant together and start saying a mantra and get faster and faster and faster. You know, and they had pictures of the masters all the way around the room. And they say, and we met people who'd seen that, the mouths of the masters on the photos did move in cadence with them. You're welcome, Tierney. So it's a powerful thing. It's a very real thing to do any mantra and have it become a cadence for yourself. It's how they used to grow and expand and become. And, you know, whether or not everyone wants to talk about it or not, we are in a period of time here. The golden age is coming, and we have an opportunity to take as much from it as we can, whether it's through, you're welcome, Tanny, mantras and chanting. And, you know, I'm going to be offering the mantras from Babaji. It's a long story. My Doug and myself meeting. He came up from Florida for a seminar that I was participating in. And he had long curly hair. And I looked at him, and then I was in it's like a sunroom, and there was windows. A red bird came and sat down on the ledge where I was sitting, and it said, go talk to that curly-haired man. So since I heard it, I did it, and we talked until like 3 a.m. I was a married woman and had no idea what was happening, but apparently it wasn't in the cards. And being a partner with Doug was. And so one thing led to another, and here we are 31 years later, very happy and no regrets. So having your third eye and your ability to have awareness and a feeling nature of response in that third eye chakra is very important. And I'm going to be posting all my things in the next couple days. And a course on development of the third eye is going to be one of them. And a lot of other things that I think it's time that people stop winging it. Excuse me. Do the work you need to do if you want to become a part of the movement. Wonderful things are coming. Youthfulness is coming. Having not have any illness inside you is coming. So why would you want to ignore this moment? I can remember for me, it was like 88, the time when, the wondrous experience of the world happened. And I had to become a part of it. I wasn't even doing healing at that time. And here I am, 41 years later, finding that it was my thing and why I was here. And so perhaps some of you haven't thought of it as your thing, but maybe it is. Maybe it's 84, 11:11 a.m. right now. How do you like that? It's in secret. The secret. Can't even say the word. All these things are happening, and it's a message. Seeing the little yellow duck, and Barbara having the bunnies, and the time, 333 and 11:11. That is the master speaking to us, trying to let us know, hello, we're here. Wake up, wake up. So part of my job is to help you have another level of depth of waking up. So tomorrow night is those who've taken part of the Palladian infusions. It's the last one. It's going to be so powerful. And I have informed all of them there will be 6 more for them, but also that I'm offering it for those who felt that maybe you are called to do it, and it will be done again, because that's what this period of time is for. It's not to maybe next summer. No, it's occurring right now. And I'll tell you what was even more powerful. So I don't get to talk to my grandson he lived with us a couple of years when he was little. Beautiful little guy, blonde hair. And I said to him, he was talking about on the computer. I said, well, do you do that AI stuff? Oh, yeah. What do you need? So I told him what I needed for my ad for tomorrow. And I would say within 3 minutes, he drew it, sketched it, found one. Is that what you need? I go, yeah, it is. So let me just say, a brain that is out there. We have to get ours out there. So Tanny makes an interesting question. Humanity does not understand the concept of the masters. The masters are people who have done over thousands and thousands of reincarnations. They have a wisdom that perhaps most of you cannot conceive, but it exists. We are not like the normal Joe down the street. I can see it in myself. And this isn't a brag. So a couple things came up yesterday, and I'm like, well, where the heck did that come from? Our energy fields are heightening. Doug is from the 12th dimension. He's always had an ability. He sees from a different place. Even his perception of work and all this thing, it's from a different place. And it will all change for all of us. And they know God. It's not that they have a greater capacity. They know him. And it's interesting because people today are asked, oh, I have God in my heart. And they have no clue who God is, what he has the capacity to do. Think of Moses and how that water, I don't think I have. Someone who didn't even know me just knew I was going to be, this is years ago, in the late 80s, knew I was going to be there, brought me. He was a woodworker. I'm going to have it here for tomorrow, this staff. And it has the poem of Moses he carved into it. Yeah, like I'm a Moses. Guess what the name of my higher self is? Joshua. it's all beginning to get creepy for me, how it all is evolving. So that says, because Joshua doesn't have to say too much to me anymore. It comes and it goes, and I move here and I turn, you have a lot of opportunity that you don't even know. So I'm going to offer things to help you have an awareness grow, to allow what you know inside you to come out, and where you're meant to be and what you're meant to do. Plenty of opportunity. And it's all very exciting. And then we have little yellow ducks coming, one in a whole pack. Very unusual. And then when I go to read about it, it's happiness and joyfulness and, wisdom. Because I am yellow. I am that color of yellow. That is my gift of the wisdom. Speaking to me? Well, you may not think so, but I do. Not as how special I am, but trying to have me understand that there's so much more of the path that we must follow and journey on. So the masters, they've lived it, they've been it, they understand how it works. There's a never-ending end to the amount of angels there are. So in one moment, they could fill the entire sky, be everywhere upon the earth. And do you know that the amount of us is this one little bit in comprehension to the whole world? And it's all filled. Yes, see, he gets it. So, however much you've attempted to not study, you're not going to get where you can expand yourself enough unless you do study, unless you have a drive to be it, to become it. Because right now, it's heightening. I work with all the Andromedans. That's our little orbs we have. Yeah. You can see that light radiate around that, right? Hopefully you can. The Syrians, they all have their own unique way, but they've all come to help support humans recognize and move from where they are. So I'm going to be putting things up, and during that process, for instance, someone who did the series, that's the last one tomorrow, the infusions, went from not seeing anything, not hearing anything, not having any impression, to where he could see the impression. I show images from the masters before I told him about it, and he can see. He is dumbfounded of the transformation of himself. So I can't promise it's going to be that way for everybody, but everyone who's done the infusion, they've grown, each in a very unique way. So it's the time. So let's see, who's here? Anik, how do you feel about your experience with the infusions? Carol's at the doctor's. Marianne, I already know they love it. Well, I would say in one word, it's spirituality. And in another word, it's a uniqueness in what your piece is in it. But there's a core base. And we will be learning more about the chakras, how to use the third eye, and those type of things, the simplistic things that create a foundation for who you are. Most people might not understand. Moses had all these gifts. It wasn't just, oh yeah, well maybe I should do that. He knew when he called forth the energy of God, God would have to take action. He didn't doubt that that would move through him. And I was meditating on this earlier today. I really believe that that's the doubt, most importantly, that people have, is they really haven't studied deep enough to understand what it feels like to have and say, I'm a part of God. God's alive in me, and I believe. So here's Marianne responding. So his word has weight in the universe. Not had, but needs to have it again. And that's what all these beings from, we've all lived many, many times. I believe I had someone did a study for me once, and I had 149,000 lifetimes. Yeah, 149,000. Yeah. And he could tell me the different ways I've passed, all these different things. When you start to meet people like that, you begin to wonder, well, who the heck am I? That's what I've asked this entire time. And, yeah. So when you become a bringer of God's energy, your world changes. There's a greater peace, a divine knowingness, So anyway, our channel is going to shift a little bit and offering more. And I think I knew something was coming. Let's see what antics are bringing me so much, and I'm sure that I am not aware of the half of the gifts I've gotten. Thank you for them. Because what it does is create an opportunity for a heightened awareness, even though you may not have an awareness, but when the moment comes, it'll be there. It's very fascinating. Yeah. Excuse me 1 minute. Yeah, being shown Akhenaten and how he wanted to bring the energy of the Egyptians to a father god versus the sun. And the sun was Ra. And yes, Tiani, but that's what I'm asked to do. And it's what happens without me contemplating it. It's just how my heart moves. And, it's not that all these things I've been aware of until I start having it said to me. People come, oh, we love your... And I had to start realizing that there was something different about me. And I had to discover what. So more and more when I meditate, I'm being shown more and more because the time's coming, if it's not already here, for it to not just be me, but you're all just like me. And finding a way to have it be your priority is to empower it, to do it, and begin to feel it. So, not to put anyone on the spot, but I know people who are here who've totally changed at how they see life and their participation in it and the people around them. I think there at one point was a fear of separation, but there is no separation. It's all a greater unity, because where you are, whoever you are, it's a more experience of the love, the joy, the wonderment, the peace, the harmony, and the freedom. And one of the greatest things we have is fear. And all these things, becoming aware of them, begin to eliminate the door of fear. It doesn't come unless you choose it. So yes, you're really going to use how to use your thoughts, and to not use their thoughts. Thoughts are things. You know, last few days I've been trying to explain that to a couple people. They don't want to hear it. That's just a bunch of malarkey. Well, it's not. It is not a bunch of malarkey. The music of the spheres exists. Thoughts are things. Little people that you give a negative thought to go out and they bring multitudes of it back, just the same as if you gave out a positive thought. So which do you want to do? Yes, there are fears. There are fears that people have. And if we can begin to lessen our opportunity to choose, because that's our karma. We're letting go of those fears, because there's a part of us that knows we have to work on issues and to evolve. We have to clear the karma in the 144,000 parts of ourselves. But that need is lessening from the world changing. That's why the Palladians are starting, and the others are all starting to be able to be closer. Sterling said yesterday, the large ships are all around the world. Soon we will see them for ourselves. But we cannot be afraid. It is our path. The golden years are here. And it is you and me, all of us here, all the people we don't know, that's going to create that opportunity to live in happiness and wisdom and joy and all those things, because we can believe that we deserve it. We can let go. The devil can't reach any of us anymore. The darkness, it's not here. We don't need to recreate it to remember that. We need to just know that it is. So, there's enough of enough that start, and it pushes everything over. That's happened. But now, the karma thing. But now, if we start putting in the positive thought, it's even a greater expansion of a new life, a new way of belonging. One of the major things people, whether it's their family they're in that they don't believe they belong, friends that they have that they don't belong, but there's one place you are that no one can ever take away from you, and that's the belonging with you and God and Jesus and Mother. They're there for you in every millisecond. Babaji. Do you know Babaji was not born into this world? He's an avatar. He was created just like all the major masters. He is the most kindest, sweetest awareness of a heightened ability of so many. Look at his face. And he just wants to share it. and give it to you. And I'm so honored that at 600 years or so, he was my father, and now is close to me always. So I will be bringing out his meditation. Yes, Marianne, I understand. There's no mistake why people are drawn here. No mistake. But even the reason how I learned about Babaji, once I met Doug, he had gotten a flyer on to go to Thailand. That he was, while we were in Thailand, the gentleman who was offering it was making everyone a minister. Well, that was right at the time in my life I wanted to be a minister. So that's how he convinced me to go. And gosh, it was such a powerful time. And my husband I had at that time, which isn't Doug, told me, well, you'll never come home. He was so worried, just knew I would never come home. And I think more his thought was I'd get killed or something. But who I was and left to go to Thailand did not come home from Thailand. We ended up staying longer. We meditated from 4. We ended at 4. We started 2 hours after midnight. So from 2 o'clock to 4 in the afternoon, 30-minute meditation. We had the process we had to do, hours and hours of meditation, many times just seeing thoughts, just letting them roll. But what the meditation does is it releases them and lets them go. So for those people who think they can just sit down and become me, I've done a lot in this world to release. And those 2 or 3 months of that meditation, it isn't something you can just sit down and think you do. It's a releasing, and you let it go. We all sat under a street in Thailand where Buddha had sat and meditated. There's also one huge, large white Buddha. I have images of it where Buddha, you go in and there's all these images on the walls, and you go back in. And another place that Buddha sat and meditated. Oh, you know you're sitting there with him. That's the level of awareness you come to so that you can own that unity, that oneness within you. That, wow, I've been here. We also got to sit with an 8-year-old Buddha while we were there who had just been given his gift. And his gift was of the heart, that he would go to the hospitals and heal cancer and all those type of things for people. So a day came when, this is in my book, I don't know how many of you got my book, but I had fallen the night before and couldn't walk on my right foot. And it was all black. It was just all black. So we were told, and this is why I had to go, that the Buddha would give each of us a healing. So I was like in the second row. I have a photo of us all sitting there. And he came to me, and I said, I would like you, and I showed him my foot. Excuse me. And the interpreter said, Buddhas can't do anything with feet, sorry, and went on. And I sat there and I was like, oh my God, what does that mean? So you thought he was going on to the next one. And the girl next to me took my arm, and all of a sudden, black bugs started coming out of my foot and went into the earth. And I looked up, and he was smiling at me, and he touched his heart. He didn't have to touch me the way the interpreter thought. he sent me loving light from his heart, which is a lot of what I now do, because that's the gift he gave me that day. Took me a while to figure that out, but yeah, it profound. And I got up and walked normally. Thailand was a huge shift for us. We went around America to give Babaji's techniques out for people to have that within them, for them to grow. So, haven't done it for a while, so I'm going to put that also out on this channel for people who are interested in. Now, you meditate on your own at home. I can give you the gift. But if you don't do the meditation and allow it to work through you, nothing happens. Let me see what Marianne wrote. I think there's a certain expansiveness that I've been more connected with. A sense of purpose and habitual negative thoughts are less than they were. Interesting. Tanny. Maybe I'm doing all this talking just for you, Teddy. Maybe for 100, maybe for 1,000,000 people. I don't know. But the day Metatron came to me, he told me God sent him to me because my voice was going to speak his truth. So it took me a while. And here it is. And maybe it will be more all the time. You have to be willing to be unique. And yet, it's funny how many of us think we're unique, but not in that way. I can remember 17 years ago when Chance was first born. I used to wear spiritual clothes, and I was stuck out like it just didn't matter to me. But it mattered to people, so they thought I was a kook. I'm sure you've met people like that. But today, some of those same people call me to get insight and to understand that I was in that process of changing. The little boy had just become a Buddha. There was a Buddha in his village called the Black Monkey who had just passed. And he gave his 3 gifts to 3 little boys that became Buddhas. One was flying, one was the healing of the heart, the love, and I don't remember the third. So the little Buddha, I asked him to heal my foot, and the interpreter said, because you can't put your feet towards the picture of a Buddha or at a Buddha, your feet. So she told me he couldn't do anything. But in the process, as it started happening, and all the ants or bugs, whatever they were, whatever was wrong with my foot slowly crawled out. And the little boy, Buddha, looked at me and smiled and touched his heart for me to know that's what he did for me. So it let me understand that there's so much love in the heart, that there's a powerful healing power there that most people don't even conceive of. Metatron, Tanny here mentions it. Thank you, Metatron. He's in charge of all the angels. And he sits to the right side of God. Enoch, they say, is who. And who Enoch was Moses. So it's like a big circle if you really sit and take time and learn different things. Wow, here we are, all together. One time we could have all those beings here touching us, supporting us, having us be embraced by that quality of love. Well, yes, and I think it's why after when I came home, my healing work totally changed. And even today, I mean, now I have the sound. Well, that's from Egypt. And I don't want to go into that because it's a very precious thing. And spirituality is a different thing because everyone has thought it and felt it differently. There's people other than myself that may have their own journey that has taught them somewhat different ways, but there were 5 of us in that original group, and a man and a woman were chiropractors and were my teacher's teacher. And she said to him, because I had just went for a couple weeks to be a minister, she said, you need to let her and her husband be a part of your group. So we did. Interesting enough, Doug got sick and had to go home. So I stayed by myself in a third world country and finished the process. Yeah, it's all too much to write. It's all too much to write. Yeah, whatever you need, all you need to do is ask for it. So meditation is going to be very powerful. We need to get the third eyes going. I've tried to support you in learning about your chakras. There's going to be a piece that's going to have that be more intent because it's just not seeing. You want to feel, you want to listen. Because if you're going to do healing, you want to be able to, if I go to a certain place, I can feel something physically. I can hear what it's saying to me. You want to become awake on a different level. Now, if you're someone that just comes here, for whatever reason, that's not going to change, because I'm always here for everyone. But there are a lot of masterful beings here. Isis is another one that always stands with me in her blue for the throat, the tongue of truth. And it's where God sits. Mother sits within the heart, where they can sit together. So, what time is it? I guess I've talked too long already. And again, I wasn't planning on talking about all these things, but apparently someone here needs to hear it. Spirit is always around us. That's why we come back and reincarnate, because we have to come back and keep learning. If you didn't learn everything, then you come back and learning. Do your best to learn again. Do you know that in every 1,000 beings, there's one master that develops? One. Every 1,000 souls, one master. So it's not a simple thing. India, I haven't been to India. I don't believe I've lived there before in another life with Master Babaji, and for a long, long time. So I believe whatever I needed from that has already happened. Well, thank you, Marianne. I just felt that maybe I needed to share some of who I am, and there's still so much more. My husband and I drove all the way around the country. Had people, we went back every 2 months to give them a new mantra. There's one time we were in an elevator, I can remember, in Miami, and the whole thing shuddered and whirled around. We would have told you the thing went around this way, but no one would ever believe that. That was after we came home from Thailand, and we're like, oh, what did we do? Well, I guess our world had to straighten itself out. When we went on the trip to Thailand, you weren't allowed to talk to anyone at home because we were releasing karma. And if we had karma with any one of those people, it would have disrupted it. So we went and talked to no one at home. Now, what has that done? Well, my children are a little aloof, and we never, but it's purposeful. It isn't about being that right on top of each other thing. You think you might need to go to India again? I'm not sure what you're saying, Tianmei. Everybody's path is different. That's another whole beauty. On that journey, one guy, that's all he says, I want to ride an elephant. I want to ride an elephant. You gotta know, here we were in Chiang Mai, that's where we were. And the people come with an elephant, put the stake in, it was right outside, and the next day they let him ride that elephant. So you can begin to see that whatever we thought was happening. If we wanted something, we got it. We even down the street found a restaurant that made roast chicken and mashed potatoes because after how long we were there, we were starving for food from home and we manifested it. So amazing what you can do with a clear heart and manifesting from a true place of simplicity and truth. So, okay, karma. So, and it was while my husband already went home, we went and sat under a road. This is like in downtown shopping, not like a city here, but think of old places where people would go in and get stuff. And you could hear the rats. I can't believe he left us there for the day. He said, this is where Buddha had a lot of healing happen here. I think there were 5 of us. Well, no, there would have been 4 because Doug went home. And we went down, called in our mantra, and off we went for the day. And all of a sudden we heard his voice, you can come out now. But we heard all the scrambling of the rats and all, but we could not be afraid. That was what it was about. We had to give up the fear that we were something else that of God's would want to hurt. So many big lessons. So many big lessons. So if you listened to Sterling yesterday, he says, which we've always been told, that you will turn 27. You will look like 27 eventually. And I can honestly say that my being is getting younger. And I do not have illness. But amazingly so, the golden age is here. It's coming. So we have to be prepared and get ready for things to change. And we do not want it to be in fear. We want it to be in the love of belonging in godliness and learn of that and to move forward. Yes, but we create whether it's a fearful one or a truthful one. And if it's going to be a truthful one, then there must be development. The cellular structure has to shift through a willingness of who you are. All right, I'll take a few moments for question. And hopefully it end up being a powerful day for everyone. Is everyone still here? 7R. So that says maybe some people didn't want to hear it. But for those who feel a yearning of becoming, maybe they're the ones that stayed. You see? Giving up the fear is one thing. And I think what in my discovery is the fear of who we are is a huge one. You know, think about that. The fear of who you've groomed and think that you have made yourself to be versus who you really are. Thank you, Barbie. Yeah. So it's a powerful world. It's a powerful time. We'll see what you all think. Tell your friends. Maybe they could come and listen to me. And the uniqueness, the difference. That one night we were heading back to Thailand, and we usually needed to have $2,500 to pay our teacher. This time it just didn't show up. And it was about midnight, and someone that we knew, that we didn't, no one really knew how we got there and got home. So I heard you needed $2,500. And I think we almost died because we were so shocked. And we said, yes, thank you. Because we knew not to reject it. So we went and had our time in the sacred space. We actually even went to visit nuns that all in white with their own parcels in the mountains. And we had to pray with them. And they had one big altar that was an opening inside, outside, and just a little, opening. Very powerful. Things you can hear, I'll never forget. And can take myself there in a moment. And I can remember as we would walk by, they would nod to us, nodding to us. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, am I taking a trip to Thailand? No. It's not a time. Maybe times will change. I don't know. But today's not a time for travel. We also went and spent usually 2 to 3 months every summer in Mount Shasta for maybe 15 years. So many things. It's another whole talk I could give you about all the things that came. Like one day we heard, I would say it sounded like a helicopter, but it wasn't. And while it just encompassed the whole place, we were sleeping. We woke up and we were just doused in St. Germain's violet flame. Yeah, maybe for an hour. And then it lifted and it went. We had fire that stood outside the one side when there was 3 of them, and they would motion us to come out. We never did it because we didn't know for sure who they were, what they were doing. All kinds of interesting things happened in Shasta. I could talk. But again, part of what developed us was there. We were there in the time of fires, and we would have no fire like in a big circle where we were staying. No smell of fire, nothing. It was amazing. Yeah, Danny, I know. That's what Doug and I say now. Let's take a trip. But for some reason, it's not time yet. But maybe we need to begin on the inside. So when we do get to where we're going to go somewhere, anywhere I am, I can make the wind blow. Just raise my arms. We would be in Shasta. It would be hot, but it was really never hot because we always had a gentle breeze. We would always see images in the clouds like are starting to happen here. So maybe we're starting to make a little bit of Shasta come alive here in Florida. I don't know. So I'm definitely time up today. And you'll have to let me know if you loved the conversation. And how you feel about it. I think everyone's curious as to how everyone feels. So tomorrow I'm giving messages, unless we get off on a conversation again that you want to know more or ask questions. All right? Many, many blessings. My goodness. You just never know who people are until you turn a key and open it up, right? Yes, and we'll thank Metatron for having me be prepared to let my voice speak. Yeah, thank you, Barbara, Marianne, Tierney, Marby. Who else was here? Anik, Marianne, Barbara Ward. So I've began an opening of a very special part of me. Yeah, there's a lot. Many blessings. May you sleep well on this night and hold your heart in a new place. That's just this powerful love of giving. God bless.